Main engine cutoff of the center core and separation ignition of the second stage. Bottom middle view shows the view looking up into the nozzle of the second stage engine.
MECO.
Main engine cutoff, center core is shut
Stage
down.
separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Again, over the cheering, MVAC-D engine up on power, it looks good. Side boosters looking good, still burning on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Grid fins are out on the center core.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Here comes the fairing separation, and there it goes. We also have successful shutdown of the side booster boost back burn. So T plus 4 minutes, 25 seconds into flight. Side boosters on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Center core coasting out over the
trajectory
Atlantic.
nominal.
Stage 2 looking good with a nominal trajectory.
And as you guys have noticed, the grid fins have deployed on the side boosters as well as the center core. Those work to help guide the boosters back to a nice targeted soft landing. You can see those heading home right now. As a reminder, today we'll be attempting to recover all 3 of the first stage cores, and all 3 boosters are currently on their way heading home. In just a few minutes, the side boosters will execute an entry burn, followed by a landing burn, and the center core will do much the same a few minutes later. Both burns are meant to slow the stage's speed down rapidly before landing.
At the time of separation, the side boosters were traveling slow enough to turn around and make their way
Stage
back to
2
land at our
mid-flight
side-by-side landing pads. The center core, on the other hand, is going too fast to efficiently return to the Cape, so we're using our autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. If we have a successful landing today, the side boosters will be reflown on our next Falcon Heavy mission, STP-2. Now, coming up at about T plus 6 minutes will be the side boosters re-entry burn.
Acquisition of signal Bermuda.
So you'll see the side boosters on your left and right screen.
Side booster entry burn has started.
And there's the re-entry burn beginning.
Stage 2 trajectory nominal.
And the re-entry burn is complete for the side boosters. Now, coming up in about 30 seconds, the center core, which you see on your center screen, will begin its re-entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn has started. Side boosters are transonic.
And there you can see the re-entry burn for center core has begun. Coming up in about 5 seconds here, the side boosters landing burn will begin as well.
Side booster landing burn has started.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Center core beginning deep throttle. Center core at deep throttle.
Plus 33 seconds into flight under the power of
We recovered
5.1.
all 3 boosters, which we have never done before. Now coming up in about 20 seconds, we're going to listen for confirmation of SECO 1 or second engine cutoff 1.
Ship AOS.
And back shutdown.
And we have confirmation.
Center core
Now we're
is
just waiting to hear
transonic.
good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And we have that confirmed, good orbit.
Now, coming up here in about 15 seconds will be the center core landing burn beginning. So again, as we mentioned earlier, this is going to be a challenging landing.
Stage 1, landing
And we
burn
are
is starting.
landing on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. And
Center core landing range on deployed.
looks like we lost the live view.
We will recover the center core.
Waiting for some confirmation, and it sounds like we landed the center core on our drone ship. We have landed the center core for the first time on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. For the first time, we've landed all 3 boosters for Falcon Heavy. What an amazing day. So now we are going to take a quick break. You can hear our crowd going wild. 3 for 3 boosters today on Falcon Heavy. What an amazing accomplishment. So now the primary mission is still going well. We are about to enter the coast base, so we're going to take a quick break. But we'll leave you with an animation that shows you where we are throughout the coast base. We will be back at about T plus 26 minutes for second stage relight and the deployment of our satellite.
Welcome back to the webcast for the Arabsat 6A Falcon Heavy mission. We're at T plus 26 minutes, 45 seconds. Second stage with the satellite is about to cross the equator, west coast of Africa. So far today, if you missed it, you missed a great show. Liftoff right on time, 35 minutes after the hour. Side boosters separated as planned.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Center core beginning deep throttle. Center core at deep throttle.
Plus 33 seconds into flight. Under the power of 5.1 million pounds of thrust, Falcon Heavy is headed to space. We're throttling down at T plus 40 seconds to
Side booster
prepare
throttle
for
bucket.
maximum dynamic pressure.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
But it is not very dense, it's very fluffy, and it is actually attached to one of the liquid oxygen overboard drain lines that we use, so coming off is normal. Now this burn is about an 85-second burn. In that time, we'll add 2,800 meters per second to our velocity. That's more than the side boosters provided early in flight, almost as much as what the center core gave us. We've throttled down the engine to keep accelerations below the limit for our Arabsat customer. Everything continues to look good. The views of the nozzle of the upper stage engine coming from 2 SpaceX cameras on either side of the second stage. Continuing to throttle down, and we have shutdown.
And back shutdown.
Right now we're waiting to hear what the final orbit looks like.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Guidance engineer over one of the nets announced nominal orbit insertion. Right where we want to be, we're on a path that'll take us almost 90,000 kilometers up above the Earth. Well, now we're in the good orbit we wanted. We're going to coast for the next 5 minutes or so. We'll be back with continuing coverage at T+33 minutes for the final step in today's mission, deployment of the Arabsat 6A satellite. Welcome back. T+33 minutes, 29 seconds since liftoff. We're about half a minute away from the deployment of the Arabsat 6A satellite. Now, currently the second stage has begun a slow spin up. That'll help stabilize the satellite. It'll retain that spin when it separates from the second stage. Now, currently, the camera view has switched forward looking at the Arabsat 6A spacecraft. And if you've just joined us now, you've missed a great day. Both side boosters landed at the Cape. Center core landed, second stage right in the desired orbit. And now we're waiting for separation.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
As you can tell behind me, the folks who watched the mission cheering. Arabsat 6A headed away into the desired orbit, doing its mission in space. That puts a capper on what's been a completely normal day here at SpaceX.
The payload tonight is a geostationary communications satellite, which will provide state-of-the-art communication services to customers in the Middle East and Africa.
Tonight's launch window is about 2 hours long, and we're planning to launch at the top of that window. If we're unable to launch tonight, our backup window opens up on Saturday, April 13th. We're currently at T-14 minutes and counting, and all systems are go in Cape Canaveral.
Today, Falcon Heavy will deliver the Arabsat 6A payload to its intended orbit more than 20,000 miles above the Earth's equator. That's significantly higher than normal, which is why we're flying a Falcon Heavy. Now let's take a closer look at the rocket. Falcon Heavy is essentially 3 Falcon 9 rockets strapped together, which means it can carry much larger payloads not only to Earth orbit, but to the Moon and Mars as well. Like the Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy is a 2-stage launch vehicle. The big difference, of course, is that the Falcon Heavy first stage is comprised of 3 cores, and Falcon 9 only has 1. Each one of these cores has 9 Merlin 1D engines, making for a total of 27 engines overall, as you can see on your screen. Now, altogether, these engines produce over 5 million pounds of thrust, equal to 18 747s at takeoff. In fact, the engines produce so much power that we don't run them at full thrust all at once until after liftoff. For the mission today, each one of these 3 Falcon 9 boosters is brand new. It's also going to be the first time we are flying Falcon Heavy with our upgraded Block 5 cores, which feature more lift capacity, a beefed-up heat shield, and other changes to make the boosters more reliable and easier to reuse.
During ascent, Falcon Heavy will throttle its thrust up and down on both side boosters and the center core to balance aerodynamic and structural loads on the vehicle. About 70% of the way through the first stage burn, the 2 side boosters will separate and come back to Earth for a simultaneous landing at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on Landing Zone 1 and Landing Zone 2. At this point...
Can't watch Real Talk on TV? Have no fear. You can also watch Real Talk on the go live on YouTube and Facebook at Real Talk with Said Ali on YouTube.com and TT Real Talk on Facebook.com. Don't forget to like us and share us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification.
If we are able to land all 3 cores tonight, it will be particularly exciting. The second stage is exactly the same as any other Falcon 9 flight. Tonight, the second stage will be sending our payload to geosynchronous transfer orbit. The spacecraft will then maneuver into a geostationary orbit more than 20,000 miles above the Earth's equator. Now, to put that into perspective, that's equivalent to almost an entire trip around the world traveling along the Earth's equator.
Speaking of the satellite, it is safely enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is the pointed cone on the very top of the rocket. This protects the payload from aerothermal loads, heating, and contamination during ascent. Now, once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. While Mr. Steven, our ship, will not be supporting today's mission, we do plan to recover the fairing pieces from the ocean using our recovery ships Go Searcher and Go Pursuit. And lastly, you'll notice the tall structure next to the rocket, which we call the fixed service structure. Its primary function is to provide passengers access to the Crew Dragon vehicle during crewed missions. But since we do not have any passengers aboard today's flight, the fixed service structure does not have a role to fill. Now let's check.